Hi, everyone. I'm Mara Webster with In Creative Company, and thank you so much for tuning into one of our talks today. We are a year-round digital talk series bringing you the best creative voices across film, television, and theater. And today we are joined by Evan Whitten, who is currently starring in the new Fox series NeXt. And I wanted to start by asking you actually how school's been going, because the new school year just started, and some schools are going back to in-person classes and some are doing remote learning. And I was really interested in how that's been for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, like a whole Zoom school thing. Yeah, yeah, it's been easy, you know. I figure I got the hang of it. I got the hang of the whole Zoom thing. Pretty good at it now. I mean, not to brag.
That's great. What do you like about Zoom classes?
Um, I just like that even with this whole pandemic going on, like we could still see each other. So
Mhm.
that's great.
That's really wonderful. And you have your brothers at home as well. So has that been really helpful since you can't see your friends to have them around?
Oh yeah, it's been really helpful. Yeah, and plus, like my brothers are like my best friends.
That's wonderful. And I love that as well as acting, you also write, you've been writing a series with them called Super Brothers. When did you start writing that series?
Oh, actually, very recently. I actually did it while I was filming NeXt.
That's amazing. Do you feel like you got to learn a lot about writing from working on TV shows and having to read scripts so much?
Yeah, I learned a lot about how like the punchline and how to make it interesting and how to keep things going. Yeah, it's actually really helped me.
Yeah, and I also know that one of your brothers just booked their first commercial gig recently. And when you were starting out acting, you also worked in a lot of commercials. Was there any advice that you wanted to share with your brother from your own experience in commercials?
Yeah, yeah, like I gave him a few tips, like just like how I do, like get into character and like feel what the character's feeling. Just imagine that, get into the character's shoes and like the basics. Like he's really good at it himself, so I just gave him like a few tips.
That's so great. And you also did a lot of theater when you were starting out acting. I know one of your first roles was playing Baby Shrek in Shrek the Musical, and you've done a lot of other plays. What do you love most about theater performing and getting to perform in front of an audience?
Oh, well, well, theater acting is like a lot different from film,
Mhm.
and it's like what started like my whole love for acting. That's what started it, and that's like the origin for acting and for my acting. And plus, it's like super fun and plus, I also like this challenge, like in theater, like it's live, like it's right now. Everybody's watching you. You're up on stage, and like this is it. There's like no other takes. So like, I just, I just love that challenge. You know, I
That's so
love it.
fantastic. And especially because I know that television, everything moves very quickly and you don't get to do very many takes in television. Do you enjoy the fact that you have to just go, the same as theater with television, you have to go in there and you have to really get it right the first or the second time. Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, I enjoy that. I
Great.
do.
I also love that you've talked a little bit before and said that you really love dramatic acting and that that's your favorite type of acting. And I was interested in why it is that you like dramatic acting specifically so much.
Well, the reason I like is just because like in dramatic acting, like you can really get into the character's shoes. Like you can really get emotional with it. It's
Yeah.
like you can really get in there. Like
Yeah.
yeah. So
When you're trying to get yourself into the character and get into their shoes and imagine kind of what they would be feeling at a certain moment in a certain scene, do you like to read the lines out loud with your mom, with your brothers, with someone on the TV set a lot, or like how do you like to try and imagine that for yourself?
I just um I just read the script, think about it, and just sort of like get into character. I read about the script. I read about the character, who he is, and what he's going through, and just like sort of think about it and just like imagine like what if I was in this and like imagine me in that sort of situation.
Yeah. And obviously, you know, with auditioning as an actor, auditioning is very different now because it's all recording things from home. Were you recording a lot of auditions from home before already, or is this something new that you've been doing recently?
Well, you know, once like before, like once in a while we would get like a videotape sometime, but usually we would like drive up to LA and like go to LA and just do it in person, do the audition in person. But now like everything's videotape. But you know, my mom tapes me at home, and you know, we just have fun with it.
That sounds so fantastic. And I wanted to ask you about working on the television show Next that you have right now, and what it was that you were most excited about in playing the character Ethan. Like, what did you love most about him when you first learned about who he was?
Oh, when I first learned about him, I was like, just I love the character. It was like a very interesting character. Like, I mean, a lot of stuff has happened to him,
Mhm.
and like he's talking to this Eliza, and so yeah, a lot of this happens.
Yeah, and you just mentioned Eliza, which in the show is, you know, it's kind of like an Amazon Alexa, a Google Home. It's a talking technology thing, but it's really possibly not very good all the time. And but it's also been a thing that's been a friend to Ethan. It feels like Ethan and Eliza are friends because they spend a lot of time together. Did you kind of act alongside Eliza as if she was another character and if she was as if she was a friend to Ethan?
Yeah, I kind of did that. I thought of it more like Ethan was sort of, well, Ethan thought of her as a friend, but he was like more getting manipulated by
Yeah.
Eliza. So, yeah.
Yeah. Did they have someone there to read the lines back as Eliza, or someone that was kind of playing that character when you were filming it to help you?
Yeah, they had like an actress talk for Eliza with me.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was good. She's great.
That's so great. And it's also such an interesting show because all of the technology in the show, it's all real technology. It's not things that aren't real. You know, but even then there's robots in the show and there's some really interesting things. Was there any technology that you were excited by that you didn't know about before that was really interesting to you?
Well, just like the idea that AI could like make itself smarter and smarter, like just the idea of that's like amazes me. It's like an amazing, interesting idea. It's like
Yeah. And then Manny Koto, who's the showrunner on the show, you know, was he really helpful in helping you to understand Ethan and the experiences that he was going through? Did he kind of sit with you and talk you through your character a lot?
yeah, we had some talks about like he talked to me about Ethan, like about what Next was about. You know, I love those talks. So those were great.
Yeah. And then you have Gerardo Salasco and Fernando Andrade who play your parents, and they're really great and you get so many good scenes with them. Did you get the chance to learn a lot about acting from working with them or things that they told you about?
Oh yeah, they were like awesome. I loved working with them. They're like such like professional and like great actors. They're super nice to me, and like they let me like talk their ears off about dinosaurs, and like they didn't mind like, so they were the best. I thank them for all that.
Yeah, and your character also in the show, there's some scenes that must have been a little bit harder because your character is getting bullied by some of his classmates. Were those scenes a little bit harder to film because they require a little bit more emotion and preparation before you film them?
Yeah, cause like Ethan is like a complicated character. I mean, like he has a lot of different emotions, and like he'll never stay in the same emotion. Like he's like mad, sad, happy, funny. It's like all sorts of things, and it's like a big challenge trying to catch up with him, like try to keep up with all his emotions. But I love that challenge. I love that about Ethan.
That's so wonderful. I also
Um,
wanted to ask you about Mr. Robot because you were so great on that television show, but I thought it was so interesting because you said that you weren't old enough to watch the show yet. So I was interested in kind of what they told you about the show. Did they show you any scenes? Because you were playing the younger version of Rami Malek. So how did they help you know what your character was and how to play him?
Um, yeah, Rami really helped. He's super nice. And like, he just like helped me out on stuff. So, well, like Mr. Robot, yeah, I just sort of played along. I sort of knew what was going on. It is a very complicated show, I'm guessing, because judged on like the script and like just Rami helped me out on all that complication. So yeah, I thank him for that.
Yeah, and he helped you with learning your lines as well. How do you like to learn your lines? Do you just repeat them a lot of times? Is it through practice or just reading them over and over again? Like how do you like to learn your lines the best?
I just like learning my lines. Like I just read the script and then memorize it, and then I just focus on the acting, like get into the character and figure out like about the scene and the character, and sort of just fit all those puzzle pieces together, and
Mhm.
and like I just try to make an authentic performance.
Yeah, no, and you really do that in this show. And you were saying before how with Ethan, it's fun to play him because he has so many emotions. But is
Yeah.
it harder to play a character in a television show because you have to do so many different emotions and so many different types of scenes? So does that make it more difficult than film or theater?
Well, yeah. Well, it makes it slightly a bit harder, but I like harder, like,
Yeah.
I like that kind. Like, I like, playing different emotions. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the most difficult scene for you to film on this television show?
Uh, yeah, like I said, there is, like, no specific scene, but like I said, like, just, uh, about Ethan, the character, like, all the scenes with, like, mixed emotions and all that, that's kinda, like, a big challenge, but, like I said, I love that about Ethan. That's what makes Ethan Ethan. It's like
Mhm.
a big part of his personality.
Yeah. And when you finished filming the series, you had the wrap party, I think right before everything closed down, you still got to have a wrap party with the rest of the cast. What was your favorite thing about that experience?
Oh, favorite thing about NeXt?
Yeah, about like next and also like the wrap part getting to celebrate with the wrap party at the end of filming.
Well, like about NeXt, like my favorite thing about it, just working with like all this cast and crew to make like such a great show and just like being a member of this awesome team. I just love it. I just love that about it. And
Yeah.
like the wrap party, oh, that was awesome. It's like we were breakdancing.
That sounds so fun. You've also said that, I know that you're a big fan of Marvel and superhero movies. If there was a character in Marvel that you could play, which character would you love to play?
Oh, I would love to play. Ooh, that is a really good question. I think I just like to play like my own sort of character, like the Super Brothers, like kind of that. I just like to, me and my brothers, like, I would just like make my own movie, like about my own superheroes with like my own powers. Like, my power would be like time powers, like time control, time travel, time freeze, like all those. It's like, that would be awesome.
That sounds like a smart choice for powers. Well, thank you so much, Ethan, for talking to Evan. Sorry, I called you your character's name. Thank you so much, Evan, for talking to us about the show. It's really fantastic and congratulations.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks.